This is WCBD TV, Charleston. Now, from the heart of the South Carolina Lowcountry, this is TV2 Eyewitness News. Live at 6.
Good evening. Dave Stanley is off tonight. I'm Jill Franco. Wheelchair athlete Manny Marshall will be spending the rest of her life in a Florida jail. Eyewitness News has learned Marshall just moments ago pled guilty of murder. The murders of 2-year-old Kathleen Ricks and 6-month-old Joshua Skinner back in 1981. In open court, Marshall confessed to both murders and an attempt on the life of still a third child, 6-month-old Richard Hanna. Marshall will now be sentenced on Wednesday. The state will now seek life in prison for the first-degree murder of Ricks and 30 years in prison for the Skinner child. She spoke quietly as she confessed to all 3 cases in Escambia Circuit Court earlier today. A 3-month battle over what to do with several thousand tons of Philadelphia garbage is over tonight. At this hour, the garbage is being dumped at a Dorchester County landfill. TV2's Dave Christopher spent the day with the Department of Health and Environmental Control agents who are supervising the dump. And he joins us now from our newsroom. Dave?
Well, Jill, the results of the latest chemical analysis prove once and for all that the Philadelphia garbage contains no hazardous chemicals. And the incinerated garbage will now be brought to its final dumping place for final burial. And legislative action trying to halt the process. The cleanup of Philadelphia garbage began at sunrise this morning. After the 3rd test of material determined there were no hazardous chemicals, just incinerated garbage.
It's burnt garbage, but there is some other waste in it that's burnt that is not garbage. It's very evident. You can see pieces of angle iron and piping and all. But all the chemical analysis come back show it not to be a hazardous waste.
In all, 3 barges contain just over 3,000 tons of waste from Philadelphia. DHAC is carefully monitoring the project just as a precaution to make sure none of the ash falls onto South Carolina soil.
We're looking to see that the load is completely covered. There's no spillage into the river. We got protection between the wharf and the river. The load has canvases on it going across the road. Also, that we don't want any of the sludge that's in the bottom of the barge from the rains that have been coming in, going to the landfill.
DHAC officials tonight still haven't decided what they will do with still another barge of ash which arrived from Philadelphia after the first shipment. But experts say the same test will probably be run all over again before the story of the garbage with no place to call home is finally over. Now, DHAC officials say that the project should be completed by Sunday night at the absolute latest. Jill, back to you.
Right, thanks, Dave.
Sure.
Well, a hazardous chemical spill in North Charleston caused a few tense moments for firefighters today. Firemen were called around 10:30 this morning when employees at the Roadway Package Company noticed chemicals leaking out of a 7-gallon container of an acid-based substance. The chemicals were highly corrosive, and the hazardous waste team was called in to neutralize the substance. EMS treated 1 employee for exposure to the chemicals, but no one was seriously injured. Another potentially dangerous situation, this one for area farmers, has been averted. Agriculture officials tell Eyewitness News they expect all the snails they are fumigating to be dead by Monday. The snails were discovered earlier this week on board military cargo from the Mediterranean during a routine check at the port. The snails are a problem in the Mediterranean area because they multiply into large amounts and can destroy leaves on garden crops. 25 years ago, snails infested the Air Force Base, but officials eliminated them before they could affect low-country crops. The state Democratic Party would like nothing more than to eliminate a runoff primary for governor, but it may be as long as next Monday before candidates Hugh Leatherman and Frank Epps decide whether they'll pull out of the race altogether and avoid a Democratic runoff. Phil later says he will not actively campaign against Mike Daniel in that scheduled runoff election. Well, South Carolina House candidate Robert Ford is apologizing to voters today for statements that he made the night of the primary elections. Ford says he unwisely shared personal feelings that he should have kept to himself, and he blames his impromptu actions on stress from the campaign.
There was a lot of frustration involved with the election, and it looked like everybody abandoned me and treated me like I had plague or something, and it was just hard to deal with.
The Charleston City Councilman is a candidate for House District Seat 110. He won the Democratic nomination over opponent Herbert S. Fielding. Well, 2 Lowcountry mayors are out of the country today attending the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Joe Riley and John Bourne are in San Juan, Puerto Rico this weekend. Riley is the new president of the conference. Some of the topics to be discussed are the prevention of terrorism, the diversity of approaches to waterfront development, and the importance of art to urban economic development. When Eyewitness News returns on this Friday night, we'll talk about what summer brings to the beaches, one thing that is quite dangerous. And we'll talk about a killer storm that affects the East Coast this time of year. Stay with us.